We did it.
We did it.
We are invisible.
We're invisible.
Some say, hey, you should probably take technology that you've discovered and, make millions of dollars, but not us.
Not us. We use it for one joke and a movie review.
Yep, that's it.
That's it. We're not invisible any longer.
No, don't worry. We're okay.
We snapped our fingers and all the stuff happened. And we saw, obviously, Invisible Man.
The Invisible Man.
The only one.
The only person. Well.
This woman, played by Elizabeth Moss, escapes this abusive relationship. 2 weeks later, the guy kills himself. And so she's bequeathed some money, and she has to meet these stipulations, but then she starts getting haunted by an invisible man.
Or is she? Or is it just her past?
Or is it our future?
Or is it the present?
I'm going to go with that one.
Yeah, there we go. This is an interesting movie because it's not really based on H.G. Wells' story from long, long ago. It's the monster. He's not a monster.
He's not
in the typical sense, but he is a monster. She's dealing with monsters and demons in her life. I think there are a lot of great moments and cool things that this movie does. I think your 2 stars, Elizabeth Moss and Leigh Whannell, the director.
Yes.
Because she does a great job of being like, we've talked about this before, like sometimes I felt like, is this lady actually crazy? I mean, I know there's an invisible man somewhere in the movie, hence the title. Sometimes you think like she does a great job of like writing that line of like, she wants to be believed, but also like, is she a little crazy?
That's Leigh Whannell's intention with this movie, is he wants you to feel like how a victim of sexual abuse or physical abuse feels. He wants you to question whether the woman is crazy, because that's how sometimes the woman feels, like, well, am I the crazy one for not wanting to get beat up or abused? You have to understand, it's like victims have to be believed, because if not, then crazy stuff like this happens.
Not to the extent, probably.
Well, no, you're not going to have an invisible man, but you're going to have people that are going like crazy because they're like, I'm telling you the truth and you're not listening.
Yeah. Like what we said about with Leigh Whannell, like the director who he wrote, I believe he had a big hand in like the first Saw movie. He is a part of the Insidious franchise. Yeah. He just did a movie called Upgrade a few years ago, which you haven't seen it. It's awesome. He does great things with like small budgets and cool like camera tricks. And this is that's what that is.
This is
like,
just all camera tricks and small budget.
It's really cool because like there are moments, and it adds to that feeling of like, is there actually someone there? Because the camera will just like pan.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, and it's not like Paranormal Activity where a sheet falls or like something like blows in the wind. It literally like pans and it stays there, and you're like, is there someone there?
Yeah.
And then it never gives it away like that, and you're like, there probably is.
There are moments when you could tell there is someone there.
Yeah.
Because there'll be noises or weird things happening, but there are moments where it's just like long lingering shot on a corner, and you're just like, but then as you're watching the movie, it's the mood of the movie that makes it interesting.
It's like, so the 2 of them, the directing and Elizabeth Moss, they kind of like bring you into that, and it just slowly builds and builds and builds and builds.
The acting from not only Elizabeth Moss but the other people in the movie.
Yeah, Aldous Hodge, I remember him in like this old show called like Leverage. Like it was a cheesy TNT show called Leverage, and I really liked his character. And then he was MC Ren in Charlotte Compton. But this one I really like. I was like, what is he? Is he going to be the part that I'm like? And he was great. I wanted to see more of the guy, the actual boyfriend. He's from Haunting of Hill House. He's more of a presence than anything.
Yeah, he's a presence. You feel him.
You feel him.
So, the ending of this movie, I don't know how you feel, but I feel like it's sort of dampened. I wouldn't say I hate it, but it kind of dampened.
It undercuts it a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Before we let's talk about like the actual invisibility.
Yeah.
Because
I thought that was really neat.
I thought it was too, because there are moments in this movie like my mind kept going back, like, is it like a chemical? Is it like some kind of weird sci-fi thing? And it is a sci-fi thing.
Yeah.
But it's a very like, once it's revealed, you're like, oh, okay, I see it. And it's like kind of, there's little moments at the beginning that kind of set that up.
I mean, it's probably something that'll happen in like 50 years. Yeah. But it is something that the way our science and technology is progressing.
Yes.
But this one is like,
it's just like
it's just a suit
of cameras.
Yeah, suit of cameras, yeah. And it's great.
Without like giving everything away, they're in the same room together, not invisible. He's not invisible anymore. Or was he ever invisible? We don't know. We don't know if he's trying to convince her that he never was, or that if he never actually was.
Yeah.
And that's what's... But there is that moment, and then something else happens that is the end of the movie, and it kind of leaves you with this feeling of like, you don't have an answer.
So I wanted an ambiguous ending.
Yeah.
But I didn't want this ambiguous ending.
Or not an ambiguous... Like, I would have been fine with a different ending, almost like it ending a few minutes earlier.
Yeah.
But then, like, but with tweaking kind of where the characters end up. It tries to have its cake and eat it, too, because it's like, big action ending, but it's like, ooh, but ambiguous ending,
Yeah.
you know? Like,
Leigh Whannell didn't hit the landing,
yeah,
but that's okay.
It doesn't take away from the movie.
No, it
you know,
doesn't.
like, thinking about it, it's still, you go for the cool, like, effects. You go for Elizabeth Moss.
You just go to see how well a corner looks. Because some corners look really good. Our corner over there, oof.
There's probably someone standing there. Is this the dark universe? Is this the dark universe we need? You know, or is this just going to be like one-off kind of?
Well, I don't know. I don't care about the dark universe.
I don't care either.
Like, I love Dracula. I love The Mummy. But we already got the perfect Mummy movie. Twice.
3 times?
No,
just
definitely not. Just twice.
If we're going to keep doing these, I want them to be like this. I don't want them to be like connected. I don't really even want them to be like over the top. Like, if we're going to do a vampire movie, I want it to like say something. You know, like at least with this, I said, we want you to make the Invisible Man. And someone said, what if we made the Invisible Man, but we addressed something? There's nothing like that sticks out of... Well, you know what? There's a lot of knives in this.
Very true. How many knives out?
How many knives out of 10
would you give this movie?
I would give it, you know what? I love the directing. I love Elizabeth Moss. And I love the score.
The score is really good, yeah.
I would give this, you know, like an 8 out of 10. I think this is the best movie we've seen this year, probably.
Yeah.
And it's a solid entry into... It's a great horror thriller.
And that's what you want from your horror movies these days. You don't want jump scares anymore.
No.
You want some commentary.
Yeah, just... I want a lesson at the... I want someone to sit down at the end of the movie and say, all right, here's
someone to open up a book and be like, and the moral of the story is...
That's just like, in conclusion, abuse is bad.
Un esercito di